happy that you guys are here today. The point of this today is just back on December 18th, we are using the same platform, that ISSS portal. However, we transitioned to what's called the new student experience. And we chose to do this because it looked like on the user end, it was going to be a lot easier and a lot more functional. We are finding glitches as we're going through. It's been a learning curve over the last month as this is going into place, but we want to give a brief overview of what we know, what we don't know, and how you can work with this system, as well as it's just a chance for you to chat and interact with us as advisors, learn how we work really well with you. So before I introduce our team, I'm going to go ahead and just give a quick reminder. On the 26th and 27th of next week, which is Wednesday and Thursday, we are having the employment workshops. So if you're interested in applying for authorization to work off campus, those are the ones that you really want to attend, especially if you're graduating this semester. So a newsletter just barely went out not too long ago that has some information about that. If you didn't get that information, feel free to contact your primary immigration advisor. So this is the International Student and Scholar Services team. I'm the director. I'm Shelley Ortiz. I've been here at Utah State University for 14 years now, working with international student populations. And so at this point, I am one that I do really well. If you send me an email, I like to respond to email because then I can link you to sources. I can give you information. I try to be pretty prompt on that one. Between uploading stuff and submitting requests in the ISSS portal and through email, those are the best ways to work with me. I do have a couple of scheduled appointment times each day, but I'm trying to get students to work with our peer advisor, Sarah, so that I can focus on some of the deeper tasks while she gives you some basic information. So with that being said, Amanda, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi, so I know most everybody on this call if you're in my alphabet, and it's nice to see all your faces. I've been in the office, I think I just passed my 8-year mark. And so we've seen a lot of changes. We've gone through a lot of processes. And so we do appreciate you all as we work through updates to our systems and trying to make things work better for you. I always love to see your faces. So I do like appointments. I know sometimes it's hard to understand what we're trying to convey to you when we send you a text, go here, do this. And so that's why we're really trying to make sure that we have resources available to you or videos. And we all appreciate your time because we all need more time. So thank you for joining us this afternoon. We're hoping that this workshop will help reduce some follow-up questions you have. But again, this system is in the works. And so hopefully this will be a good touch base. And then, you can always email me as well. Depending on our busy times, it's a very busy time, right now with the start of the semester. So, if you have something urgent, you can always call and leave me a message. You can send me an email, and I never am, turned off by multiple points of contact. It's just usually you're not the only one emailing me lots of different ways. So, yeah, I encourage you to make appointments as you need them. And utilize our peer advisor as well, who we'll introduce later. But Chris.
Hello, everybody. I recognize quite a few of your names in here. So I apologize also for not having my camera on. I'm in my office today, so I don't have a camera. Otherwise, I would have one on, but you can see a picture of me right there. My name is Chris Cameron. I work with all of the new international graduate students that started as of fall 2020. I also work with all of our visiting scholars. Typically, the best way to work with me, I would say, is through email. I typically am very quick to respond to email unless it's an extremely busy time, which it is right now. Other than that, you can always feel free to call and leave a message if necessary, just like Amanda. And just in general, I would also like to reiterate what my colleagues have said, and thank you for giving us some of your time today to join us. We really, really do appreciate it. Especially as we're working through, as they've also said, many of the kinks and bugs that have come along with launching this new system. So that's just some of the things we'll be talking with you about today. So, Sarah?
Hi, my name is Sarah Rasmussen, and I am the Office of Global Engagement's peer advisor. Basically, what I do is I help alleviate some of the projects that Amanda and Shelley have. I help with general questions, forms, and I am also going to start gathering information about screenshots so we can build a better system and fix all the problems. I usually have walk-in times every day between 10 and 1, and I usually have a couple appointments every single day for general questions or if you have a problem with a form. And I am available via phone call, email, all of the above to answer any of your questions that you may have.
Thanks, Sarah. When we get to the end of the presentation, I do have a slide that has our contact information as well. But in the meantime, I'm going to actually stop sharing my screen. And Chris, if you want to share your screen and get us started on the new student experience.
Absolutely. So welcome everyone to the new student experience. As we've mentioned, there are many bugs and errors that we're still trying to work through, but in general, I'm just going to kind of go through the general process of how to access the system, how to log in, kind of introduce the system to you, and then my colleague Amanda will take over and she'll talk to you more about stage specific things. So we decided to move to this new system in November of last year because we wanted a way that was easier for the students to really access and get access to like the forms that we need you to fill out for us. And this is a much more user-friendly version of the site that we were using previously. So that was why we made the decision to move. As you can see here, this is the main page. So this is where you will go when you first access our URL, which I will post in the chat. Actually, as soon as I'm done sharing my screen, I will post it in the chat. And in order to access our system, you're going to click on this button here, this F&J students. Ignore this button up here. Don't click that. That's for administrators. You're going to click this one. And what that's going to do is that's going to take you to your USU login page. So here, this is just a normal USU login. You're going to log in with your A number and your password, and then log in. You'll have to go through the Duo push system, and that should give you access to the system. Now, sometimes what you'll receive is you'll get an error. And let me just stop sharing so I can share the other screen that has that. Wherever it is, there it is. So sometimes when you log in, you'll get an error that looks like this. This just means that there's something wrong with your profile that we need to go in and fix. So if you do get this error, don't click anything, because if you do end up clicking something, you could end up generating a second profile, which does make things more difficult to resolve. So if you do get this screen, don't click anything, and also don't worry about it. Just email your primary immigration advisor and we can fix it for you. If we try and fix it and that still doesn't work, we may have you go in and refresh your password, or sorry, not refresh password, clear your browser cache or try a different browser as well. It does work best with Chrome and Firefox. So we don't, it's not as friendly on other web browsers. So do definitely try and use one of those. It's also not mobile friendly. So definitely do not use a mobile device when accessing our website. Okay. So once we've gotten you resolved and gotten all that stuff taken care of, you should be able to log in and you should land on one of 3 pages, depending on what stage you are currently in the process. And I'm not going to take too much of Amanda's thunder because she's going to be the one talking to you about stages, but I will at least show you the landing pages so you know what it looks like when you finally got into the right place. So if you are a new student, you will see something that looks like, oh, this is not the right one. If you're a new student, you will see something that looks like this. So you haven't been issued an I-20 yet. You're brand new to the system. You're brand new to USU. This is what you will see, right? And you'll be able to fill out all of your information here as well. In order to complete your I-20 application and be able to receive your I-20. If you have received your I-20 and you need to do your check-in, you've arrived at USU, and you need to complete your immigration check-in, you will see this page. And so this is basically just giving you instructions on how to complete your immigration check-in. There's even a little video down there with a tutorial. You'll see each of these individual stages. This will have all of your personal information on it that pushes from Banner. And you will be able to see all of your records that you can initiate. So you can do your immigration check-in here if that's what you need to do.
Chris, could you
Mhm.
clarify back on that previous, on the personal and program information? What if a student sees something that is incorrect? What should they do?
Yeah, so I was going to get to that in just a minute, but yeah, I can do it now. So if you see something that's incorrect on here, you won't be able to edit it in our system. What you need to do is you need to go into Banner and update your information in Banner. So the way you get to your Banner account, most of you will have done that already, but if you don't, you'll just go to USU's homepage and click on My USU. You'll log in there. That'll give you access to your student profile or your Banner student profile, where you can update all of your information as necessary. And that information will then push into our new system. So the last one that you'll see is if you're a continuing student, so you've finished everything you need to do, you've done your immigration check-in, you're registered in CVIS, this is the page that you will see. And this just has, like, we put event information in here, we have some frequently asked questions, we have links to make appointments. Again, you will be able to see your personal and program information, and you'll be able to see all of the requests that you're able to submit. So that's pretty much all I have to share with you for my part, because the rest of it now is going to get into the nitty gritty, which is where Amanda is going to take you. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen so that Amanda can take over.
So I guess something that would be helpful for everyone to do is if you can't get in, try logging in actually and making sure that you can access the system. Kind of Chris has gone over if you have an issue. So making sure that you can get in is obviously the first problem, and then making sure that what you are looking for is available to you. So Chris kind of showed you the landing pages for each stage, and that basically what this new system is supposed to do is kind of follow your lifeline through your student process. So, before you arrive, when you're a continuing student, and then, post degree, when maybe you're working on optional practical training or something like that. And so each of these stages, as they roll out this software, could change. They might fine tune some of it. But right now, what we're looking at is the continuing stage. And the continuing stage is where most of you will be after you've checked in and for the bulk of your time at USU. And so we've tried to, make sure that everything is working, but we've had a couple of things where we tell a student to fill out a form, they go to this page, they can't find it. If we tell you to fill out a certain form, it may be that we have to provide you permission to it. For instance, and again, this is a work in progress as the software we work with adapts their system based on our complaints and requests. So for instance, if you're applying for OPT, you should see the standard OPT, but if you're applying for an OPT STEM extension, we actually have to send you an invitation. And so that's new in the system. And it really is to try to make sure that when you're looking at this, you're not seeing everything, you're seeing what's applicable to you. So that is kind of a nice, update. So on this page, the student forms page is where I would say most of you will spend the bulk of what you're doing when you're logging in here, because you need something or you have a question about a benefit. And so you'll log in, you'll go to the student forms. In the upper left-hand corner, you can see any pending requests. So say you started a request because you attended the employment workshop. So you went into the OPT request, but really you were just looking at it. When you start it, you can do two things. You can save and submit any of these forms. If you save it, it's not finished. And it just sits there so you can go back to it at your leisure. If you submit it, then it goes on to the next phase, which is typically maybe sometimes a signature document to your graduate program coordinator or your academic advisor. But the format of each of these requests is pretty similar. So right now I've opened up the OPT request because next week we'll be offering an employment workshop. And so this kind of gives you a place where you can go and look and kind of see what's in there. We're trying to put videos in as we see them. So you might see some learning content. It's going to have you watch that learning content. And I know it's really challenging when you're like, oh my gosh, you've got to be kidding me. This video is 10 minutes, 15 minutes, you know. But a lot of it is to go over like commonly asked questions that we hear over and over and over. And I, like many other people, I don't want to, I just want the answers, but we're going to have you sign off that you've watched this content. And so it is important that you actually review it and then, you know, follow up with questions if you have them. Hopefully it'll help save you some time. So most of them, you know, some of them will have videos and then we have learning content. So this is very similar to our old system. You're going to see general information about whatever this request is. So you'll see some, you know, content about OPT, for instance. And then you have, you know, like any kind of additional information. So what shows up in basically each of these is signature documents, questionnaires, learning content, and a place to upload files. And so you have to go through each of these steps where it has this edit sign, read it, fill out whatever needs to be done, and then you hit next. And so when you're going through this, if it's not applicable to you, but it's required, make sure you're looking at it. So in the signature documents, you're just signing that you've read it. So I'm kind of going to go through this just because there's a couple things I want to show you. Anything that has an academic advisor, one thing that's new in here is that you actually are sending, putting in more information. And this advisor approval is something that you want to plan on taking a little bit more time. Most requests we process like 3 to 5 business days. But what's new in this system is that we will not see it until your advisor completes this. It basically sits in what's called an advisor review, because your advisor usually has to say, hey, where is the student in making progress? Are they eligible for this benefit? Do they need an extension? And so you want to make sure when you fill out the advisor information that you've completed it accurately and it's going to the right person. One of the things that's kind of annoying is it has approver organization. Whether you put Utah State University or your department, it doesn't matter. The two things it has to have is the approver name and the approver email. And then that goes to whoever, and then they'll fill out those questions. So that's an important, you know, stop in those things, because you will do everything. It needs to go to your advisor. And then once your advisor finishes it, so if your advisor takes 6 days to review it, we aren't going to see it in our queue until your advisor reviews it. So one of the things that's a helpful suggestion is that when you fill this out, because it is a system and many things go to junk email, send an email to the advisor that you've included in this and let them know, hey, I just sent you a request for the Office of Global Engagement. Can you approve it? And at least that way that they're looking for it in case it ends up in their junk email, because it is going to take time from this getting approved if it sits in their junk email. And so other things, when we go into the file upload, so all of these are the same. For OPT, generally for anything that we're approving a benefit for, there's some really basic things that, you know, we're always asking you to upload copies. And you might say, gosh, you know, don't they already have this? You know, the reason why you upload is we want to make sure that you have it and that it's current. We're generally checking for eligibility. So for instance, for OPT, you know, we're making sure that your intention to complete is on track, that your passport is still valid, because all of the things that determine your eligibility will also be things that USCIS reviews. But there are some funny things in this new system. And so one of the things is if you go to upload a file and, you know, your money order, you know, we want to see a picture of that because again, we want to make sure that you have it, but it's also something that if you don't upload it, you're not going to be able to complete this request. So make sure that you collect everything, that you upload the documents. And if you have multiple pages, so a lot of these documents are single pages, but like the Form I-765, when you download it, it's a multiple page PDF. So when you upload it, it's a multiple page PDF. But we ask for your prior I-20s, and you're not going to be able to upload, if you have 3 I-20s over the course of your time here, you want to make sure that you merge those all into one document, because there's only one document that you can upload for each of these sections. So make sure that you prepare your documents before you go in here. And if you can't submit, that's why, because there is a limitation. So group your PDFs accordingly. And then at least you will save yourself a little bit of a headache there. So when we talk about other kind of issues, so when we click out of this, so again, most of these requests are very similar. You're reading things. There's a couple tricks. You can see where that request is sitting. So if you log in and you're like, all right, Amanda, what is she doing? If it says advisor review, again, that's not us reviewing it, that's your academic advisor. And then when it's submitted, it will show up on our queue. And again, just based on workflow, we may be really quick some weeks and behind, and depending on our availability. I don't know, besides, though, I want to just point out one of the things that we may do. We might upload a document to your request. We might dismiss your request or reject your request or ask for corrections. So that's one of the things that's nice, is before you get some random email after this, it's nice because it's kind of all connected to the same request. And then if we upload a document to that request, it'll live there. If we upload it to the general documents, so it's not tied to a request, it shows up on this page. So it's hopefully much easier.
Amanda, can I add a point of clarification?
Yeah.
Right now, we have the previous system, which is called the classic system, where maybe people uploaded a lot of documents. We had a lot of things. Now we have the new student experience. And at this stage, a lot of requests or documents that are in the classic system have not converted over to the new system. So what I've been doing is I have been asking Sarah, the peer advisor, if she will retrieve documents from the classic system and put them into the new student experience. So just if you're not finding what you need and you think it might be in the classic system, or even you're just not sure where it is, ask Sarah and she can help with that.
Great. I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to cover. If not, I'm going to turn the time over to Sarah.
Perfect. Thank you, Amanda.
Share.
Perfect. Well, I don't need to share anything. I'm just kind of the wrap up end of what we have to share with you, unless you guys have any specific questions, which we are more than welcome to go over. So basically, as a peer advisor, I am just here to help you guys. Shelly and Amanda can get pretty busy sometimes. And so if they're not answering you or they're busy, shoot me an email and I will be able to help you. I specialize with forms and moving those documents between systems. I'm available to work on any sort of problems that you're having over Zoom. I have 2 appointments every single day and walk-in times that I'm available. And I'm available any time of the day. You just got to shoot me an email and ask me. And also we're working on fixing our website. So I would love if you guys could share any sort of problems or issues that you're seeing to my email. And my email is right there on the screen. It's internationalstudents@usu.edu. But I'm super excited to get to know all of you, and thank you so much for coming. Does anybody have any questions for us?
Hi, Ahmed Azad. I have a question for the team. Right now, the system is renewed, understood, but if we don't apply for any new things, for example, any OPT or extension, just for saving purpose, do I have to upload any old documents that you already might have? Or, I mean, for example, do I have to upload my current EAD card here or my current I-20? I'm not applying for a STEM extension. I already have that approved. But do I have to anything that might need to be uploaded here?
Ahmed, I'm going to answer your question.
Sure.
So in your case, right, you're going to be completing the mandatory STEM OPT reporting because you're on that STEM OPT.
Mhm.
And so for those requests, they are in you'll see them in your student forms. And those each do stand alone. So you won't have to track down necessarily all your old documents, but it will ask you for your EAD card generally at certain points. But you're generally filling out that I-983 form, and when it's appropriate, updating that I-983 form or filling out the evaluation on that form. And so the main thing, to keep in mind is if you're updating your MyUSU account, hopefully we're getting any updates for address or email or phone number, because those are a requirement for everyone, regardless of what stage they're in. But then those additional forms, it'll ask you specifically what to upload. And that's generally what we're looking for, is the Form I-983 in that stage.
And I'm going to broaden out a little bit. So if you're worried that we don't have your documents because we've translated to a new system, the answer is no. We have your documents on file in the classic system. Again, I've had a few people that are wanting some document that they gave to me at one point, and when they go into this new system, they're not able to retrieve it. And that's where Sarah's been downloading it for us.
I see. Thank you. Thanks, Amanda. Thanks, Shirley.
I think more than anything, we want to say thank you for your patience with the system. It's been a learning process for us. And we're finding out that things that they are in the process of building, which may show in the system, are not always functional. So we're learning, and we appreciate your patience with all of this.
Yes, I have a question. I just want to ask, if one submits a request and it's under pending, does it move to another place where it shows done or approved?
So that was on the student forms page. So right now, like we've been a little, since we're learning how to do some of this, and we've got student requests coming in on both sides, both in our classic and this. And so if you've got a request that's pending, I know I have some like RCLs and other things that I will be processing. Once I've processed it in CVIS, you will see that it shows as completed. Other things that you can see in there that you might wonder, do I have to do something? One of the things that we do every semester is we register you. And so in this new system, it's nice because we don't have to download what we're doing. It automatically updates. So you'll see things that are processed, like registration and other things as they go through. And, of course, again, we're in that peak of the registration period. And so we have this 30-day window where we're trying to make sure everybody's registered, processing all the RCLs and registering students in CVIS. And so part of that is making sure too, right, that you guys have all reported updated address information. And so that's why it's really important, because we're looking to make sure, okay, what's in there and has it changed? The only thing I'm going to add before we wrap up, and it's great you can send it to Sarah as well, is if you do experience something, it's sometimes hard for us to know what you're experiencing. So screenshots are fantastic, because what we're doing is taking your feedback and sending it to our support system and having them build a ticket. So if something seems like it's an error or it doesn't seem like it's working right, you can always take a screenshot, send it to internationalstudents@usu.edu, and we can determine if it's a problem with your account or the system in general. Because again, we seem to be in an early phase of testing of this, and we're finding that, those screenshots are super helpful.
All right, well, if there aren't any more questions, then you know how to contact us. Again, welcome to contact us. We're always here to help. We try to do our best with being quick and efficient and accurate in the responses that we give to you. And at that, I'm gonna say, welcome 2021. Let's hope that this year brings lots of good things to all of you. And if you're joining us next week for the employment workshops, look forward to seeing you then.